get through this. There were about 8 facilities where you had Sunday baseball. The home team always was home team. And then there were about 8 traveling teams. And I don't know how they were organized, but the traveling teams rotated and came to Clark Stadium every Sunday. And then there was a team called the Roosevelt Punters, who always won everything. And then there was a team in Glendale. And Casey Stengel would go there almost every Sunday to be part of the audit, the crowd and things like that. And once in a while, he would come to Hermosa. And I was stupid enough not to give him a baseball or sign or something like that, because he was my dad's hero.
Wow.
So anyway, I went to the games on Sunday a lot with my dad, starting when I was about 6 years old, because the head umpire was a guy by the name of McDougall, and he was the usher with my dad at the first mass on Sunday. And so he would always say, "Come on, Leo, come to the game today. We're going to be playing somebody." And so Dad would round up the boys. I was one of 7 brothers.
Oh, wow.
So there were 3 or 4 of us would go down there and watch the game. And then I kind of got into the act of chasing balls and all shagging them for Fred and things like that. So I got to know him pretty well, and I thought I was the smartest guy in baseball at my age. And when we were playing at the Grove Field across the street, the guys who were baseball players at Redondo High School, I didn't wear glasses in those days, so I couldn't see fly balls very well. So they always bounced off my head and things. But I knew all the rules. So one day, I said, "Damn, I got to get a rule book so I can read it to the guys." And so I sent a letter to Fred Haney, who was the broadcaster for the Hollywood Stars and the Los Angeles of the Coast League. And he read my letter on the air, and whole bulls hurt. And so then he says, "When you come to high school, I want you to be my scorekeeper."
This was Coach Hogue, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the coach of Redondo.
That's right. So therefore, he was pleased to hear that. And then a young marketing company put out a little rule book that they copied from the Sports Illustrated rule book. Not Sports Illustrated, Sporting News. And then that was anybody that wanted a rule book on baseball, just write in and they would send it to you. So I got 2 or 3 of those somewhere around the house. But anyway, that was my introduction to Redondo High School baseball and stuff like that. Anyway, now we're going to go to
Answering a lot of my questions.
yeah.
I know he is. He knows where to go.
Anyway, every once in a while, a few years ago, they used to have these posters on the outfield fence.
Right.
They're not there anymore, but I took a picture of them.
Oh, good.
Some of them, though, I had a chance.
Oh, that will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be
I
able to.
figured you would need these for your book.
Yeah, why not show what the stadium looked like back in the day?
Yeah, before they remodeled it and everything. And I don't know exactly what this picture was from, but it looked like an old alumni game or something. And they have a lot of guys there that were different uniforms. And so I was there and took that picture. I show up there every once in a while. Now, there are some guys who should be coming to this game who are still able to get out and throw the ball around even though they're 85 years old. And one of them is Dan Espinoza, who was one of the great shortstops in the history of Redondo High. And he was 47. I have 3 or 4 other pictures like this that I'll have to come up with a little bit
You
later.
say he was class of 47?
He was in my class, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were 48. No?
No, 47.
Okay.
And then I know a few guys on this team, but the one that's interesting is the guy here. His name is Juicy Dawson. That's the nickname. And Juicy was kind of an interesting guy because he was ambidextrous. He could go pitch a game on one day with right-handed and the next day left-handed with the same ability, although he wasn't one of the greatest pitchers in the history of Redondo. But anyway, Juicy Dawson would have to be in part of a story somehow or another because those guys are rare in baseball, and we can show that Redondo was as rare as
Do you
anybody.
remember what his first name was?
I would have to look it up in this book, but Juicy. And then this is an interesting picture because this shows John Stevenson on the same team with Ken Swearingen.
Wow.
And there's several guys here that his name slips in my mind. He was Harlan Gage, Bob Weiss. This was a pretty good team.
What year is
I
that?
don't know, but we'll have to look it up. But Cal Rossi was the coach that year.
Okay.
Now, remember, we were starting to be a track and field school. And so the only reason why he was a baseball coach, I think, is because he was the head football coach. And in the spring, they needed something for him to do so he wouldn't have to teach class and he could be in fifth, sixth period gym, things like that. But anyway, and then over here, Doc Lindsay, he was the school doctor.
That's fantastic.
Producing some of the other guys.
Yeah, we can probably figure out these pictures based on when Cal Rossi was the coach, because he
That's right.
wasn't coach very long.
No, he went to Long Beach to be in charge of part of the administration.
Right.
That's where he went to school before he went to UCLA, and then they wanted him back, so they gave him a nice job and he got at Redondo.
Right. So it's only a few years, so maybe we can narrow it down to.
Yeah. This is the picture,
love
not too
these.
important, but there are a few good players on it. And the reason I want some of these guys to be contacted and invited
Okay.
on that day. This is Old and it's a different player. I'm in this picture because I'm the manager, scorekeeper, and you can see me with my hat turned up.
Now, where is that picture taken at?
This picture was taken at the bar, north side, right near the gym, where the field is down below there. That at one time was the playing field for Redondo.
Okay, so at the north end of the football field.
North end of the playground, of the athletic facility. Then there's steps that go up into the gym.
Oh, gotcha.
The steps would be right over here.
Okay, I see.
But anyway, this is a picture of a lot of guys, and we don't have time just to name them all right now, but just to give you an idea of what.
Wow.
It has to be 46, 47.
Yeah, I would think.
Right,
These are great.
These are absolutely awesome.
yeah. But anyway, I think about a year or so before that, Holbrook was still the coach, and he said we should play on grass.
Instead of dirt?
Yeah, so he was the athletic director, and so he said, I'm going to have the department rearrange the football field at the southeast corner near the goal post, so the home plate is there, and that's where this picture was taken. And this was, I think, the 45 team that won the Bay League championship. And way out in right field, there was a wooden fence. And remember, you got the field, the track, and then so it was they practically had a ground rule double for anything that went that way. And Salco Torres would always be able to get on base with a double. Then Harold Hatfield would come in and knock him, hit a home run or something to left field, and knock him in. We won several games that way, and that's why we were the champs. But anyway, there's another picture of a cube type of thing. Shows that I'm not a pony.
So what year do you think they finally said, hey, we're going to play on grass and not on dirt?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, okay.
You want me to get to it right now?
What? No. You want to. It's your
Okay, I will.
story, man. I just was curious.
What happened is that Mariposa was now built, and they have a nice, beautiful baseball field with grass and everything like that. And this picture here is the same picture as this one down here. And what happened is that it rained for a couple days. Now we have a Bay League game against Santa Monica for the championship, practically. So what did they do? They put the line down as far as it would go, and then they said any ball that went into the water was an automatic single. You talk about a ridiculous ground rule. And so I'm out there with my camera, and I said, now I can write this editorial. And I wrote this editorial. The following year there's grass. So the school board and the superintendent, they all said, we're sick and tired of having Henry Berg slam us all the time. There's a full picture right there.
Now this is at Memorial Field now,
Memorial Field. That's after they moved up on top.
which was probably 1951 or 50.
Right in there, I'm not too. I can figure it out. All I remember is that John Stevenson was on the team at that time.
And they played, didn't they play civic softball there?
Yes, well, that's what started it, you see, because in 1949, the Elton Club was big in softball. Cody McBride and everything like that, and they went nuts over softball and joined a 16-inch softball league, which was top notch. And we had teams from Long Beach, Anaheim, Orange, Anaheim, and there were 8 teams. And Santa Ana and Redondo were the 2 best. And so Redondo needed a home field.